valuable for the student to stay on track and progress. And also to direct the student to the most productive tasks. So there's no point in them learning one part of the lab when they've already have a really good understanding of that. They can just be productive in their learning. So this is an extension of the needs assessment is the learning contract, and this encourages the learners to formulate their own learning objectives. So this is an actual physical piece of paper or on the computer, where we write down the objectives, how the learner can identify the resources that they need to achieve those objectives. And the important thing is that it's done for each student to address their previous experiences and their own learning style. And it's also important that it involves the student in making these goals for themselves, because rather than us imposing a strict curriculum on them. Although we do have to keep in mind the competencies that are imposed on them by the school that they go to. The learning contract also allows the learner to look back and reflect on what they've accomplished in the end. So in the lab, we must open up and support opportunities for participation. And here I'm talking about direct participation and not shadowing or just watching. The laboratory is an ideal environment for this, to encourage participation. And participation has practical outcomes and emotional outcomes for the student. And these are mutually reinforcing. So the more you do the practical outcomes, the emotional outcomes are amplified as well. So through direct participation, the learner is acquiring skills, applying their knowledge, and learning to learn. This helps build a sense of identity in the learner, it builds confidence, it sustains their motivation, and they feel rewarded and satisfied. So learners value what is assessed. So my third component is assessment, and it's as simple as that. If you want a student to leave your laboratory with knowledge gained and retain that knowledge, you need to assess them. Whether this is in the form of a retention test, a case presentation, or feedback. So if you want to bring all your knowledge together, a case presentation could incorporate different areas of the lab, and it is a very good assessment of the knowledge gained by the student. And if I want to know from you how much you're learning in this session, I would quiz you, and I'm actually going to do that a little bit to see how much you've gained from this. So it's also been shown that learners show increased confidence when they are challenged by assessment, and then they are challenged when they value the work that's being taught. And we can support the learners by feedback. We can provide feedback to the learner about how the session went, and it's an incredible opportunity for the student. It must be concrete though, it must be specific, and it must be actionable. So we want this to be positive for the student and not negative. We can also do feedback throughout, which would be formative, and summative at the end. So the important thing about formative feedback, though, is that the student has an opportunity to change their behavior or to make adjustments before the end. There's no point in learning what you did wrong at the end if you have no opportunity to change it. So in conclusion for my learners, I propose a needs assessment, a learning contract, participation, and assessment. Assessment being like tests or case presentations. So my question to you, a little quiz, is what are you more interested in learning more about in your labs? So needs assessment, learning contract, participation, or assessment. And this will just help me just focus my energies in the future. I'm sorry you can't see the display. I just, the way this is set up. So I have a good estimation now. The last vote's in here. Okay. It's very nicely spread. Actually, 17 of you would like to learn more about the needs assessment. 11 of you would like to learn more about the learning contracts. 18 about participation. and 8 of you would like to learn about assessment in the end. And I think that it's important, all of them are important, but it's nice to see what the audience views as important. Thank you.